What is up, guys? It's your boy, Papa Kakis, and today, you did it again, didn't ya? You left all of your Season 18 prep until the final week. Well, don't worry, because I did too. So in this video, we have a ton of tips for how to gain a massive advantage when the next new season launches in Destiny 2. Be ready to raid on day one. And so, let's get started. Now, first things first, people hate doing this, but we gotta talk about it. It's bounty prep. For those who may not know, you can complete bounties, but wait to turn them in until the start of the new season. That way, you're gaining a huge chunk of experience when you actually need it. A lot of people are saying that this is unnecessary these days because the level climb is so much less for these minor seasons. And that is true to a certain degree. In Season 18, the power level climb is only going from the max currently of 1570 to the new max of 1580, 10 new pinnacle levels. However, remember the brand new raid is launching on the first Friday, the 26th. So you are not going to have a lot of time, and mainly what these bounties being saved are going to be for is gaining that experience to level up your brand new seasonal artifact as fast as possible. Guys, I don't need to tell you how cracked things like Classy Restoration are. The very last column of those new seasonal mods are always incredibly powerful. If you can get that huge chunk of experience and get to those faster and have access to those for that day one raid, it's really going to matter. So, which bounties should you save? Well, the most experience comes from weekly bounties. After that, it's daily bounties, and in last place, it's repeatable bounties. So there's not a lot of weekly bounties left. You want to go to Hawthorne, the clan bounties are considered weekly. After that, Shawhan in the Cosmodrome has a couple here. Then you can go to the Moon. There's actually going to be 2 at the Lectern of Enchantment, and then another 2 from Eris Morn. Then after that, go to Europa and visit Varix. He's got 2. And then finally, you have the upper tier bounties from Starhorse. Now, after that, you want to fill the rest of your slots with daily bounties. All of the vendors we just talked about, or pretty much all of them, have daily bounties, but if you're looking to fill slots last minute, remember to go to the different planetary vendors. As you can see, Devrim in the EDZ, Failsafe on Nessus, they get 3 different daily bounties that rotate every single day, so you can usually fill a lot of spots with those if you need it. But moving on from there, the next topic is resources. So you burn through a ton of resources at the start of a new season, so stocking up on things like planetary materials, upgrade modules, Glimmer is a great idea. But something else you want to stock up on is treasure keys for Dares of Eternity. Now that's because Bungie revealed that in Season 18, the Dares of Eternity loot was getting a perk pool refresh, so they're going to have all new god rolls, and they're getting an origin trait. So likely the new versions are going to be outright better than the current versions, and therefore you want to be able to farm that activity like crazy next season. Now, continuing with resources, you want to make sure to grab all of them from your season's pass. However, you actually don't want to grab legendary and exotic engrams. And that's because, as you can see, if you go to bungie.net and sign into your account, you can access the previous season's pass. So I left an exotic engram in there, and as you can see, I can claim that right now in this season. The important part is that, as you can see, it drops at 1570. So this loot is going to drop at the exact power level you are. So you can kind of do a trick where next season, as you're leveling up through the 10 pinnacle levels, let's say you have a helmet that's lagging behind. It's 1 light less than your overall power level. You can withdraw stuff from your previous season's pass and potentially luck out and get an exotic helmet that gives you a light level boost. And even just boosting that one piece by 1 power level, that is sometimes enough to boost your overall power level up by 1, and that can make a big difference in that pinnacle grind. So if you don't need that stuff right now, might as well save it for next season. However, something you don't want to wait until next season to grab is all of your vendor rewards. This stuff will disappear when Season 18 starts, so grab it now. Even if you delete all of it, it's free legendary shards. But next up, we have a big topic, Arc 3.0. So we know that the Arc subclasses are being remade in Season 18, and if it's anything like Solar 3.0 this season or Void 3.0 last season, it's going to be correct. In fact, earlier today, Bungie fully revealed Arc 3.0, going over a ton of new abilities, fragments, aspects, even a brand new super. Definitely, if you haven't seen my video on it, check it out. It's linked up above. So there's a lot of things you can do to prepare for this change. Number one, craft the good Arc weapons and level them up. Now, I did do a video on the 5 Arc weapons you want to be crafting and their god rolls, but like if you can get a Sweet Sorrow with stats for all, 1 for all, that's going to fit in perfectly with new Arc 3.0 builds. Some people are saying, why do that? Because there's going to be new Arc weapons with crazy new Arc perks? Probably. But you're gonna need to use the existing weapons until you get the god rolls of the new weapons, right? So you definitely want to get this stuff. And in that same vein, you want to be acquiring or dusting off from your vault and infusing the existing good Arc weapons you have. Again, did a video on the 10 legendary weapons I would highly recommend getting ready for next season. A lot of that stuff is going to jump pretty high in the meta because of the demand for Arc weaponry. And of course, this also applies to Arc exotic weapons. Stuff like the Thunderlord, the Risk Runner are going to shoot up in value dramatically, especially because if you're a newer player and you don't have access to Arc legendary weapon god rolls from years ago, you can throw on the Risk Runner and have a great Arc weapon to synergize with your new build. So make sure, again, you are acquiring them if you don't have them, getting them out of your vault, infusing them up, getting the catalysts done for the weapons that have them. That's going to be very important. But in addition to that, guys, it's not just about getting all the Arc weapons ready to go. There's also weapons that are specifically getting buffed in Season 18. Now, the last video of mine I'm going to shout out here is the one I did where Bungie announced a bunch of the changes coming in the Season 18 Sandbox update. So stuff like the Thunderlord, that's actually getting intrinsic overload rounds. So you can deal with overload champions now in Season 18 by just putting on the Thunderlord. Obviously, that's going to make that weapon significantly more desirable. There's certain weapons getting complete reworks like the Dead Man's Tail. There's obviously going to be nerfs in there as well, but go check that out and obviously prioritize the weapons that are outright getting better, getting buffs, and maybe switch around some loadouts that feature weapons that are getting nerfed. But guys, remember, a lot of this applies to armor as well. We have exotic armor that specifically affects Arc abilities, Arc subclasses, like this Cuirass of the Falling Star. This makes Thunder Crash do significantly more damage. We don't exactly know right now how good Thunder Crash is going to be in Arc 3.0, but it's probably not going to be terrible. And if it's good, this exotic could become absolutely meta. And speaking of armor, the last topic here is Artifice armor. If you can, guys, try to get your hands on some Artifice armor. It drops from the hard mode, the master difficulty of the Duality Dungeon and the Grasp of Avarice dungeon, and right now at the very end of the season, your power level is as high as it's going to be, so it's your best chance to get some. If you can get just like one piece, especially if you can get a class item, it's going to be so valuable because as we talked about at the beginning of the video with bounty prep, the seasonal mods are absolutely cracked. And for example, the dual elemental resist chest seasonal mod, the fact that you can have Artifice armor and that gives you an entirely separate additional slot for that seasonal armor, you can put that dual resist chest mod on and then maybe have another one in the normal slot and then have another mod slot for whatever missing element you have. or concussive dampener, and then have, you know, +3 mobility, and then have, you can have so many mods, and it makes an incredible difference having that extra slot in endgame content, especially with that new day 1 raid coming in only 3 days after launch. And so guys, that is it for the video. I hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.